You appear to be highly focused and serious contending candidate for the governorship office of Imo State. Imo State is known as the heartland of Eastern Nigeria. What are your motivations and drive for your candidature?
Okay. First of all, it might interest you to know that I have quite a backlog of political experience, a pedigree that evolved from 1990 when I was elected councilor for my people up to the present. So I started my political career as a councilor at the lowest rung. I've been in party administration. I was a one-time state chairman of a party in Imo State. I have been in the legislative arm as a councillor at the third tier of government, executive arm as council chairman at the third tier of government, then a commissioner, which is executive arm of the second tier, the states in Imo State. And as a federal board member, I have also participated at the first tier of government, and that is the federal government. So I've had this backlog of experience that traverses all the different arms, executive, legislative, and my background as a lawyer, the judiciary. And I've also had that experience in both the first tier, second tier, and the third tier of government. So I practically have participated in all the arms. But then, the drive I have for wanting to be governor of Imo State and administering the state might actually be from who I am and the way I was brought up, my background. Now, when you look at my background, where I'm coming from, up to where I am now, you find out that I believe, sincerely though, that right in Imo, our young people need to take their destinies in their own hands and get things right. The way things are moving now is not quite very right. And we think that we could correct those things. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in 1962, precisely on October 13, 1962 in Port Harcourt, somewhere they used to call Ozoba. And by the time from conception to birth, and I'll tell you also up to this point, it's like I am a child of destiny. I break barriers. I do things that ordinarily people think is impossible. It's a difficult task. When I come in, I do it at the ease with which I do these things. Marvel people. I started as a child who was born beyond the gestation period. I spent 12 months in the womb. That will surprise you. That is the first time I broke medical barrier. Nobody gave me a chance of survival. But I did survive. After 12 months, I was born. And my dad is alive. He's an 85-year-old man. My mom is also alive, a 75-year-old woman. And that time, they were both teachers, primary school teachers. My dad retired as a primary school teacher. So I had a humble beginning. I had seen what it meant not to have money to pay school fees. I have seen what it meant not to be able to go to hospital when you are sick. I have experienced living in a place without electricity. I have experienced trekking to school, and at times without slippers, without sandals. I have experienced reading without having textbooks, just making do with what the teacher gives you on the blackboard. That's my background. That's where I'm coming from. And I said to myself, that's our generation. We should not allow this type of thing to happen to the next generation. And that is my drive. That is my mission. I want to create an Imo State that has an enabling environment that will encourage private participation in driving the economy. Presently, the economy of Imo State is government-driven. Everybody waits at the end of the month, allocation comes. The governor will pay contractors or will not pay contractors. That is the way the economy is driven. It's public-driven now in terms of government participation. But we need to turn it around to get it to a private-driven economy. And how do you do that? You can only do that by opening up the economy, creating the enabling environment, putting on ground the infrastructures, and then calling in private participation in the establishment of infrastructure, industries, and that. And by so doing, you also create employment for the youth. But more importantly, you need to have a very virile education, in fact, a proactive education policy that will get the youth engaged in education and that will open the horizon for them to properly articulate their own visions too, because everybody has a vision. But when you now act negatively, your vision becomes counterproductive. But everybody has a vision. You know, you could be a smart person, an intelligent person. When you put it into roguery, you are also smart, but you achieve the negative result. But we can get the youth to direct them to put their smartness. Some of them are very good in internet activities and so on, but because they are not properly educated, they are not properly directed, there's no enabling environment, they channel it towards fraud. Internet hawking, internet this, that. But those energies can be put positively to readdress the economic situation of the state. But to my mind, in this election that we are running in Imo State, economy is the major factor. Because right now there's a lot of hunger in the land. And because there's a lot of hunger, there's a lot of crime by the youths.
Thank you. Right. I would like to ask, I mean, you were a former chairman of Owerri North.
Yes.
I would like to know some specific or significant, achievements during your administration, which you hope to bring on the table with such experiences and gains, towards your campaign as a gubernatorial, candidate.
Well, thank you. As council chairman from 1999 to 2002, I was council chairman for 3 years, Owerri North. And if you have background knowledge of what Imo State used to be and what the local government system used to be and what Owerri North was specifically, you will understand what I'm going to tell you now better. Now, when I took over in Owerri North, the local government had no permanent site, no headquarters. They were operating from a rented apartment of about a duplex that was rented, and I took over. And the local government then was being called Owerri Nothing. When you say Owerri North, they just added it, Owerri Nothing. That's what they were calling it. Okay. So on assumption of office, I first of all decided to change the name. I now put, instead of just Owerri North Local Government, I now put it Owerri North Local Government, and in bracket I'll say God's own local government. It is still there up to today. So we had our bedrock, our foundation, led on God. Now, within the first 1 year, and this things you can verify, I had put up an ultra-modern local government headquarters for the local government. It stands there up to today. And where I left it is where it has remained up to this point. This is in spite of the fact that we had little or no resources coming from our federation account because we have the burden of teachers' salaries and so on. But I decided to generate internally because in any political system or any economic system that you cannot make use of internally generated revenue and you are relying on federation account, you are not going to achieve much because federation account can fluctuate depending on the price of oil. You understand that? Now, so that is just one out of the so many other achievements. But I also tell you that I made sure that in that time we had 18 autonomous communities. It has now increased because government has created more. But at that time we had 18 autonomous communities, and in all those 18 autonomous communities, I did one capital project. In all, as you put your address to the public, if you have a feedback mechanism, you'll be reading from people. We're not. They will tell you, yes, it is true. Because I can name the communities from what we call Akwakuma to Obibiezena. That is the Akwakuma is one end, Obibiezena is the extreme of Owerri North. And I can name them and tell you what the projects I did. In Akwakuma, for instance, I gave transformer to Speedbat Road, and I stringed the Mwori lane, gave them electricity. In Amakohia, I did a primary school, Amakia Primary School, that was abandoned for so many years. I renovated it and put it back to use. In fact, it was commissioned by His Excellency then, the Governor, Dr. Chikudewa. In Oje, I gave them electricity and started building a hall for the mechanics that were never remembered before I came to power. That hall is still standing up to today. Where I left it is where it has been, but at least they're making use of it. I didn't complete it, but I was able to put a roof over their heads. Now, in OBB2, where we call Owala or Welu Omunao, I gave them electricity and also built a feeder pillar to step down their electricity at Owelu. In my community that is called OBB1, I did the borehole because our major problem was water. So I did the borehole at Umoba, which was supposed to serve the community. And that borehole is still existing up to today. In Awaka, autonomous community, I gave them a transformer. In the autonomous community, I gave them a transformer. In Emekupu, there was a community in Emekupu that never had light, called Ubewelu. Emekupu. I gave them a transformer, encouraged them, and today they have electricity courtesy of my administration. In Emi, another community had no electricity. They were called Mbahere. Emi, I gave them electricity. The electricity they use today is courtesy of me as council chairman. In Ebu, there was a community that didn't have electricity. They called them Ishuzon. And I did give them transformer that was stepped down, and today they enjoy electricity courtesy of my administration. In Naze, I gave them a 500 kVA, which they installed at the market square, stepped it down, and I brought the governor to commission it. In OAU, the OAU area, we call it Abala, Obube, Abala and Olapo. That is the OAU. It's a word, a political word, but you call it OAU or Obube, Abala and Olapo word. But each is an autonomous community. Obube autonomous community, Ebele Obube, Mba, in Ebele Obube, had no electricity. I gave them the electricity, I gave them the transformer. Then you had, there is this, when I talk about government also overlapping to private institutions. There was a church, Reverend sisters that had a sort of skills acquisition center in Obube. They were being disturbed by robbers. People were coming to rob them. That I came there on inspection and they told me. And I just found out that what they needed was a fence in the area. And I gave them 200,000 naira to do the fence. And they did. They did the fencing. That rubbish stopped. And that is at Ngoma. Then in Abala, the Abala people, also part of Abala hadn't electricity. And I gave them a transformer that they use. In fact, the assemblyman representing Owerri North, who is here today, will attest to that. His community, the electricity they use today is courtesy of me. In Olapo, I built lock-up shops, built an abattoir, and also started one of the biggest health centers in any local government in Imo State, which I could not conclude, but it has been roofed. And where I left it is where it is up to this moment. In Obibiezena, I did electricity project at what they call Obeke, which is a community that lacked infrastructure, like an abandoned community. And I did that, I gave them electricity. So these are the communities in Owerri North, as at that time. And in spite of this, I also did road work, what we call rural road grading. In all our rural roads in Owerri North, twice a year. I will do one before the rains. At home, the rains are always very heavy. So after the rains, they would have been washed off. Then I'll do another one for people who are coming for Christmas festivities and so on. And these are legacies I left. I never owed staff salary. I was known as the council chairman who will always pay salary 27th of every month. I will not wait to the 30th. And these are testimonies that people give as I go on campaign. You understand? And also, I never owed any contractor. I managed the economy so well that I was able to do jobs I could fund. I never gave jobs I could not fund. As at the time I left office, I never owed any contractor, and I left a surplus of 25 million naira for my successor.
Wow, that's a long list of achievements. And
and much more. Yeah. Much more. We did a lot in education. I was the only council chairman from the inception of the administration up till now. From 1999, when civilian regime came in up till now, I remained the only council chairman who gave bursary to law students in the Nigerian law school who were suffering in Abuja. No other council chairman did it. And I did during the period I was there. I was giving them a bursary of 10,000 naira each. In area of sports, of course, you know, if you get to the headquarters now, you will see the trophies. Because of the way I empowered the youth and got into sports, established a football club. So when His Excellency brought a cup for the state, Owerri North was the pioneer winners of that cup. And the cup is still remaining with us to date. Yes. So we did a lot and even much more.